Welcome to Custom Home Builder Solutions, also known as CHS, a job costing, full accounting, and profit management software for the professional home builder. This video is going to be an overview, not too detailed video about the scheduling feature that we have in CHS. It is a bonus feature. CHS is not, its main primary focus is not about schedules, it's about job costing and profit management, etc. But I realized over time that there's things the schedules can help us do, like decide when to issue POs, approve POs based on certain schedule dates and stages being done in CHS, and that information can be very useful if you're looking at your estimated cost at completion worksheet and trying to determine if all costs have been in, if there's been some notes written from the field. It's a great way for the field to write some logs and some tasks and some notes that can be seen in several places in the program to communicate with people who are trying to decide whether to approve bills to be paid or whether all the bills are done and have been posted, that kind of thing. So I'm going to click the button for Schedules Tasks. And the first thing I'd like to talk about is I decided to keep it as simple as possible, so I decided to base a schedule on what is called job stages. Now I'm going to pull up this builder's list of job stages that this builder set up. I give you 48 stages that you could use, 0 through 47. This builder believes in simplicity for the stages of the job and attaching cost codes to those stages. So he has 14 stages. You can think of job stages that you set up as perhaps the time periods when you might be going and getting a draw from a bank because a certain amount of work is done. So that's why I decided also to base the schedules on job stages to keep it simple. So the only dates you're putting in when you're estimating these different stages to be done, you're only putting in dates for that instead of a whole bunch of little tasks and the dates for all those, like call for T-pole and this and that, and trying to do all this work to put all these dates in. What I did was set it up based on the stages. You put in the dates for that, and then underneath each stage you can create lists of tasks or logs that you check mark as being done or not. You simply check them off. If you could imagine this expanding and seeing stages behind it, and I mean tasks behind it, you could just make a list of tasks and then check them off, and I will show you that when we go to the schedule worksheet. So there is, if you look at help, there are videos here. It says set up job stages and attach stages to cost codes and do this first. There's videos here about setting up those job stages and how those work. Now I'm going to go ahead and select a job that we've been working on in all of our demo videos, and you'll notice that I don't get any alert about it not having a schedule yet, because you can see over here that it does. What I'd like to show you is if I select one that does not have a schedule, it's going to tell me it doesn't yet, and it's going to give me some options down here. Either create a blank schedule that has no tasks with it, or copy a schedule from another job that includes the day durations without a list of tasks behind it. You're planning to do your own, or copy original durations with a list of tasks. And by the way, if you've assigned people to the task, context to the tasks, with this one it won't have those contacts assigned yet. It'll just give it a list of tasks you've set up. There is one where you could copy with the tasks and the assigned contacts and any notes you wrote on those tasks, which means you'd be getting a lot of detail in. You could set up a generic job so that you could copy the basics in of the tasks and maybe some contacts that you'll probably always be using, and some generalized task notes. But let's go back to our job, our demo job. We're not going to start a new schedule. We're going to look at a schedule we've already started, and I'm opening the schedule worksheet. And you'll see when you scroll down this that you'll see these different stages, and you'll see his 14 stages, 0 through 13. You'll see the titles for them here, and you'll see that he put in some original estimated days for how long this stage would take to get done for this job. And he's typed in some actual start and end dates already for a couple of stages. And notice over here that those, when he's typed in an actual or end date, over here, this column is either estimated or actual. If you put in an actual, it will automatically get put here and be in bold black to indicate this is an actual start and end date in the real world. And then CHS will do a bunch of calculations based on your duration days anytime you make a change, and come up with the estimated start and end dates based on the duration days, etc., what kind of days are in here. Like you'll see here that the original estimated days was 31, but we've had change order delay days added. And by the way, CHS, this is one of the good reasons for setting up stages and attaching them to cost codes, is then when you do a change order, you will be selecting cost codes, and CHS can then tell which stage that cost code belongs to, and any delay days that you've assigned to that change order, CHS will automatically bring in. You can click this and drill down to see those change orders and a description of them when you notice that here. He has also typed in, he already knows he needs to add maybe 3 more days to this stage for whatever reason. So he's estimating 38 days right now for this stage to be complete. And so CHS is using the next day after this estimated end day, starting the next stage with the very next day in the AM, adding 38 days to it, and coming up with this day here for the estimated end, and already showing that we're showing 7 days over what we originally estimated based on the change orders and what we typed in. So you can see how this is the only dates, and when you decide to do a date, let's decide, this is showing that we're estimating it to end on Tuesday, but let's go ahead and click this edit button, and let's decide that this is done, and we're already into January here, so the calendar will do this, but let's, it was estimating December 1st. Let's decide we got done with that a little bit after that. Let's get back to December, and let's say we got done on Thursday. We marked it as being a done stage. Now notice behind here, this isn't changed yet until I submit this, but we'll notice how some of these dates down here are changed by CHS by the fact that we said that was our actual end date. Now notice we added a couple more days to what we were estimating based on these days. So it's saying now this is all marked as actual done, and it's 9 days, 25 days minus 16, 9 days over what we originally estimated. Now, if you drill down to tasks or logs, that's what I was talking about. You can imagine expanding. You can add as many tasks to be done in this foundation stage. Notice they're all check marked. We often recommend putting a task in for issue POs for this stage, and an ending task of approve open POs through this stage. Notice these numbers that this builder put on these because he wants, it's always sorted by task title, so he has used numbers to get these to sort how he would like. So he puts numbers in front and a dash and poor slab. We'll go into some more detailed videos about this. Notice that one of these is red, indicating that it's a log and not a task. If it's a log, it will just remain check marked. It will automatically be check marked as done because it's just a place. You can notice over here that for this particular line, because there's a little pin, you can see that there's a note that was written. In other words, there was some log, daily log. The field person decided on that day to enter a log about what was going on with ABC Foundation, etc., and that they'll be charging an additional $2,000, which can be very valuable for a person because they can see these notes when they're on the estimated cost at completion worksheet trying to decide some things, and they can know that this is going to happen just because a note was typed from the field here as a daily log. But like I said, you're not assigning dates to these. It'll store a date that you created it and a date that you last changed it. Of course, I'm all the way into January playing with demos, so it's weird that this would have been created this date, but that's just because I'm in January right now when I was figuring out doing a log. But anyway, you're not entering dates, but you can select contacts to assign, and you can print reports of assigned tasks. Notice this big Well, let's look at United Plumbing. If I click this little report icon, it's going to show the various tasks in all stages that have been assigned just to United Plumbing Services. This can be real handy to export to PDF and email to this United Plumbing to show Stage 2 Foundation Plumbing Rough is the task. You could have typed some notes for that task to talk to United Plumbing. I haven't typed any in, but it's also giving them some pretty good idea of the days. These are actual days, start and finish on that first stage, but here's stage 4, and it's showing that these dates are estimated. Here's top out plumbing installed tubs, plumbing final, estimating in this month, March to April, that kind of thing. And you can have notes on there, so it's a handy way to do your tasks, assign them to somebody, and be able to send them a quick report. I'm going to close this. But that's the type of task that you can have underneath everything. Now notice also, we said this stage is done, so we probably want to maybe do some work in the field for approving the open purchase orders for payment, showing the bookkeeper and the rest of the company that we've check marked that this work is done for this PO. This PO, you can drill down, you can look at the PO, you can see what the cost code is and who the vendor is. And if you hover over, you can see the name of the vendor. So the person in the field can check mark on these purchase orders that the work is done, and that information will carry all the way through. You can also see pinned notes that either the person in the field or a bookkeeper or somebody else wrote about this bill. This says we're not approving this until insurance certificate is received. And then we show on November 15th it has been received. Maybe the bookkeeper typed that in on the notes over there when entering the bill, that kind of thing. So there's notes that can be seen or written. If you click this, you can write some more notes that go on to the bookkeeping staff and then the person approving the bills to pay that the bookkeeping staff has posted. So you can see how this sort of flows, and all this did was bring up all open POs through stage 2. And that's the other reason why, because every purchase order has a cost code on it, CHS can tell what stage that purchase order is in based on the cost code and the stage that's assigned to that cost code when you set up cost codes. So all of it is coordinating with each other so that you can operate based on stages, keep your schedule fairly simple, and like I said, do the stages based on about the time you expect a batch of work to be done and you're requesting draws. Based on job stages, you can also produce budget reports grouped and totaled by job stage, so you can do a little forecasting of what your draws might be. Notice that there's a charts and analysis button here that when you open it, you're going to get some information about all of these stages and dates and how many days they're going to take, start to finish. Down here you're going to see the original estimated days. The actual estimated days right now, based on actual and estimated, is 197. We're over by 11. 20 of those days is due to change orders. -9 is due to other either minus amounts we put in for additional durations. You can study on that and open a report of that, and I think you'll figure it out. There's also just a thing here that I created to show you. If you look at this whole thing, you can see it's coming out to around that 190 some days here, number of days, and then these are the stages, 0 through 13 that he has, and how many days each of those stages. That's what these are, is the number of days for each of those. It's just a quick little picture of the whole thing, just for the fun of it, actually. You can do a report, you could do a schedule report that you could print out so that you can see the totals. You can see the 197 estimated days, and you can see how much over or under days, the total of those 11. That's basically the worksheet we were looking at, but in a printed out format. And you can see lists of tasks only, logs only, tasks not done, budget by stages. That's what I was talking about, is if you see a budget, a job budget that was created by stages that you set up, you can do some forecasting on these stages by how much you budgeted. Might give you an idea if it's a customer that's doing a cost plus markup. might give you an idea of around how much you might be expecting to draw at the end of certain stages. So that can be kind of handy. I'm talking real fast. We will go into some more detail. There's a place for Gantt charts, a place to select a contact, to print a task list for all jobs that are open, and you can select the contact and for stages that begin on or after a certain date if you're wanting to give them a new report. But that's a general overview of what's going on with the schedule worksheet. There's other videos about this weekly status report you can do for various jobs that you should pay attention to, but I just wanted to give you a brief look, overview of various things that schedule is doing. And thank you for watching.